Goes the family, welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully you guys having a great and exceptional day. It's Monday, new week, new opportunities, and I think that I know that I'm going to be doing things a lot differently this week than normal. So as I stated in previous videos, and sometimes you gotta switch it up, keep yourself nice and fresh and all that great stuff. But anyways, so today's word of the day is gifted. Gifted stands for, I like to read the definition of words. Endowed with great natural ability, intelligence, or talent. Revealing special talent. Now, I chose this word today because that's the kind of people I like to have around me. To always quote the Bronx Tale, there's nothing worse in life than wasted talent. And a lot of people waste their talent on social media. They don't actually put their talent, the talents that they have on social media. They're just busy browsing and gossiping and arguing with people over things that they have no control over. And then you have a lot of people that are gifted in various areas and they don't have to put it on social media. They might be gifted artists. They just like doing it for fun. They might be a mentor to somebody, to children, kids without fathers, kids without mothers, whatever have you. Kids without, any sort of role model. People who need mentorship and, other adults who need mentorship in different areas. And I always say to the gifted people, don't let people take advantage of you because people love to take kindness for weakness, especially in today's world. That's number one. But at number two, everybody was born with a special gift or a multitude of gifts and whatnot. But I think the most important gift that anyone can have in this planet and on this world is being a decent person to one another and showing some sort of kindness on any level. Doesn't have to always be with your wallets and your purses and whatnot. It could just be with positive words. It could be with specific actions that you do towards other people and go from there. And me, that's why I started doing the word of the day. Was one, I saw Dinah Samir, he was doing a morning message. I don't think he does it anymore because it wasn't getting much traction. And that's the sad thing because, this whole social media thing, if it's usually positivity, it doesn't get as much traction as the negative and the stupid nonsense and people partying and whatnot. That gets all the algorithms in the world and whatnot, or any information that's going to keep people dazed and confused and not coming up with any real specific results and whatnot. So that's another thing to take into consideration. All right. So like I said, doing something different this week. It's going to be every day, but I think I'm going to skip doing the poems, skip writing about other Black businesses and whatnot. I'm just going to, just to keep myself sharp and keep myself going. All right. So today's quote of the day is by Carmelo Anthony. And I love this because this is a great way to start the week off. Every morning you have two choices. Continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. Every morning you have two choices. Continue to sleep with your dreams and wake up and chase them. And a lot of people get very comfortable, and I always say the comfort zone is a death sentence in their daily lives, especially the older we get. I'm about to go to a class reunion, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing a lot of people I have not seen in a long time. But I know that it'd be nice to see, hey, I've seen you since high school. What have you been doing with your life outside of being a great parent and a great spouse? That's nothing wrong with you doing that. It's a part of life and whatnot. But I need energy around me, especially to the men that can talk about subject matters outside of being a parent, being a spouse, and sports and politics. That's just how I am, and I'm not going to change that about myself. There's certain areas that I don't mind compromising in, but when I'm around other men, we got to be able to talk some business. So, you see my shirt. It says, Larry's Anything Goes shirt. Knowledge equals money. Money equals assets. Assets equals freedom. Okay? And that's the kind of conversations I like to be around. And I remember the first time I heard Dame Dash say that, and I was like, you know what? That's kind of harsh, Dame. But the older I get it now. If you've never seen his Damon Dash iconic, one of the best freaking interviews on The Breakfast Club was Damon Dash talking about, the people having a job. And this is back in 2015. He said something that was considered to be very unpopular, but he was just like, you have a job. I like being I like being a boss. I like owning businesses. I don't want my kids to work for anybody. I want my kids to own businesses. All right. And I loved it. And it ticked a lot of people off, but it was one of the realest things ever. And even when he came back to the Breakfast Club, he's like, he revised the statement a little bit. He said, I'm going to say there's nothing wrong with having a job, but I am going to say there's something very wrong with only wanting to have a job. And I agree with that statement as well, because not everybody can own a company. That's not the way any country works, especially America. People have to be employees and whatnot for any economy to be sustainable and whatnot. But you got to have goals and aspirations outside of just wanting to be a good employee and just want to be a good parent and just want to be a good spouse. especially in today's world. That was cool 20, 30 years ago. And that's cool in a lot of communities where you have 10 to three to five families living in one house and whatnot, because do you have that village mentality? But even then, you got to have some sort of a backup plan and skill sets, backup plan with a business, because of the way the economy is today and the economy of tomorrow is. That's just in regards to inflation, in regards to when bad things happen. You know, things are going to happen. Do you have the money? Do you have the money? I freaking hate. This light gets on my nerves sometimes, yo. Do you have the money when something bad happens from a medical standpoint? Do you have the money if your car has an issue? You know, I just had to spend a couple $100 on my car, you know. And I'm like the rapper D Note. I ain't got no car note, so I'm happy about that. But do you have the money? Do you have the resources in case something bad happens, you know, medically, with your car, with your home, you know? Well, I don't own my house. I rent and whatnot. Do you have a car? Yeah. Do you have the resources to back things up when things happen? Because things are always going to happen in life. That's just the way life works. Or whatever. You know, do you have the resources? Do you have the capability? Do you have the know-how? You know, what happens if your company goes out of business? You know, you saw me have a conversation with my friend Chris the other day talking about ITT Tech. Just imagine if you're working at ITT Tech and, you know, your company, the corporation was shut down. These things can happen. Any employer you work for, and this is not bad saying anything negative or derogatory towards any employer, but things happen. You know, the economy, even now you see a lot of people getting laid off because of the way the economy is, especially in the financial and banking sector and the real estate sector. You know, things are bound to happen eventually. Do you have backup plans? Not a backup plan, but do you have backup plans? You know, it's like, and it's scary to think about it, but it's just the God's honest truth. So I'm going to leave it at that. But do the great 3 free things. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great day. I'm going to read a passage from this book called, this is a book I recommend. I don't make any money off of recommending it, by Enrico Moretti, stated the New Geography of Jobs. I've been reading this every morning, and there's a part in this book that really not only coexists with what I say all the time, but it's just the freaking God's honest truth. All right. And I got to give nothing but love and respect to this. And that's why I wanted to read this, this paragraph. Because it really belittles, well, not belittles, it really talks about the reality of what Fox News and CNN and MSNBC are not going to tell you. Even a lot of people online are not going to tell you, because it goes against the grain of the programming of the media. I'll leave it at that. All right. So anyways, Mercedes, which is the car company, received $250 million incentives packages, $165,000 per job for relocating to Vance, Alabama. Total state spending on local economic development amounts to $40 billion a year, significantly more than the cumulative federal spending for Tennessee Valley Authority over its 30 years of government subsidies. The subsidies, which are, you know, governments and states give all the time on various, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's the American way. These subsidies are one of the rare issues that Democrats and Republicans tend to agree on. These subsidies are one of the rare issues that Democrats and Republicans tend to agree on. Although the rhetoric about government intervention sounds different, blue and red states both engage in efforts to bribe businesses to come to their jurisdictions. Rick Perry, who was the governor of Texas, $2 million and gave $2 million in subsidies to Emerging Technologies Fund for Texas companies, is similar to initiatives in California, New York, and Massachusetts. Federal loan guarantee programs that took advantage of what was started in 2005 under George W. Bush and was expanded in 2009 by Barack Obama. While politicians and the companies they subsidize usually While politicians and the companies they subsidize usually extol the benefits of these deals, critics complain that they are huge waste of public money. Is spending $150,000 per job really the best way to help the residents of Memphis? What if we just wrote checks to those residents instead? With 2 colleges, I have studied what happens to local communities when their bid to attract a large employer by offering subsidies is successful. When firms are considering where to open a large plant, they typically begin by looking at dozens of possible locations. They narrow the list to roughly 10 sites, from which 2 or 3 finalists are elected. In our study, we compared the experience of the counties, and the company ultimately chose the winner, with the runner-up counties the losers. For example, when BMW decided to open a new plant in the United States in the 1990s, the decision of where to locate it came down to two finalists: Greensville, Spartanburg, South Carolina, and Omaha, Nebraska. BMW chose Greensville, Spartanburg, partly because of the incentives package worth $150 million. $115 million. In this case and others, the losers were the counties that had survived a long selection process but narrowly lost to the competition. And that happens on a regular basis. My home state of Virginia, I remember my home state of Virginia, the previous governor, he I forgot his name, but he gave incentives. Every governor, remember when Jeff Bezos was looking for an East Coast location for Amazon, even though I know he's no longer the CEO of Amazon anymore. And he chose, it was supposed to be in Long Island, New York, but he ended up choosing the Washington, D.C. area on the Virginia side of the Potomac River for his East Coast headquarters and whatnot. And I believe there's one in there and then one in New Jersey and whatnot. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania put in a bid. They didn't get it. New York put in a bid. They didn't get it. And every state, but bear in mind, every state, whether it was a Republican governor or a Democratic governor, it was like, hey, we'll give you X amount of tax incentives to move here. And even though Jeff Bezos is going to move the East Coast headquarters to Alexandria, Virginia, without the tax incentives, because it just made sense for him since he owns the Washington Post and he spends a lot of time in the DMV area. He's like, hey, you still going to give me all these tax incentives? Why not? And that's the American way. I'm not even mad at it. It is what it is. Business is everything in America is about business. That's why they call it a capitalist society. So regardless of who's sitting in the White House, the governor's house, and the mayor's house. So like I said, when I get political, I talk about the economics. I don't talk about the parties and the blue versus red crap. That's not who I am. But anyways, that's who you are. That's cool. But you're never going to see me get in an argument over politics, because I'm just like, if we're not talking about the money, then we don't have anything to talk about. But anyways, so I just want to talk about that because everything revolves around the business. That's why I got the dollar signs behind me. Everything in your life, the internet that you're on, the school that you go to, the work job you go to, the home you live in, whether you rent it or you own, everything revolves around the freaking dollar. So that's why I always say, make money moves, or you're going to live bro like a fool. All right. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual, retirement account investor, don't forget to sign up with WEBULL, Acorn Stash, Crypto.com. You'll be able to make some money when you sign up with those platforms. Description's in all the links are in the description. And if you would like to support Larry's Anything Goes, thank you by just check out our online store, or you can contribute by making donations via our Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. All the links are in the description. All right. So do the great 3 free things: like, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, make money moves, or you're gonna live bro like a fool. Take care, family.